Cheryl Swoops has had her records being beaten by the face of the league.
Someone babysitting me, and then somehow she ends up with a technical, and she didn't really do anything. She was just standing there, so that's what was funny to me.
And you know who is the face of the league? Who knows the face of the league? Caitlin Clark.
Picture this. Caitlin Clark, the hottest name in women's basketball right now, is on the court. She's fired up, the crowd's going wild, and then, wait, what's that about a suspension? The rumors were flying, but Clark just shut them down. Let's talk about what really went down and why fans were holding their breath. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. So here's the deal. Clark's been making waves with her on-court antics and how she talks to the refs. Fans were freaking out, thinking their favorite player might get benched. You know how it is when your star might miss games, right? It's like the whole world stops. But then, boom, Clark drops the bombshell. She's not getting suspended. Just like that, she put all those rumors to rest. But here's the thing, if she's not suspended, what was all the fuss about? There's more to this story, and you won't believe what's really going on behind the scenes. Let's dig into it. Clark may have dodged a suspension, but she's not out of hot water yet. Remember that game where everyone thought she'd lose it? Well, things got way crazier than anyone expected. Her teammates had to step in, and you'll never guess who ended up taking the fall. Let's talk about Clark's recent game that had everyone on edge. She was in the zone, scoring left and right, but her intensity was off the charts. The refs were watching her like hawks, and fans were holding their breath every time she opened her mouth. It was like watching a tightrope walker without a safety net. Clark's teammates knew she was close to getting a technical foul. They were trying everything to keep her cool. Imagine this. Your star player is about to blow up, and you're desperately trying to calm her down while still playing the game. That's some next-level multitasking. Here's where it gets wild. Clark spilled the beans about what went down. She said, "I would have been really sad for people in Washington, D.C. I didn't want to do that. I tried my best." Can you believe it? She was actually worried about disappointing the fans if she got kicked out. But here's the kicker. Aaliyah Boston ended up getting the technical instead of Clark. Clark couldn't help but laugh about it, saying Boston got it just for standing there.
It's kind of funny. They think it's funny, so... And then Aaliyah is the one that ends up with a technical. That's the best part about it all.
Talk about taking one for the team. Now, you might be wondering why everyone's making such a big deal about technical fouls. Well, in basketball, they're no joke. Get hit with a tech, and you're giving the other team free throws, and maybe even a chance to win the game. For a superstar like Clark, it could mean the difference between staying on the court or watching from the bench.
But yeah, she basically said, I knew they weren't going to give me a technical foul because it would leave a lot of people disappointed in Washington.
The pressure on Clark is insane. Every move she makes, every word she says to the refs, it's all under a microscope. Fans and media are watching her like she's the main character in a basketball drama. Some people think she's making a mockery of the rules, while others are in awe of her ability to walk that fine line. Here's the thing. Clark's dance with the technical foul rule is both impressive and controversial. She's like a master negotiator, knowing exactly how far she can push before crossing the line. Some fans are loving it, saying it shows her competitive spirit. Others, not so much. They think she's playing games with the rules, and that it's only a matter of time before it backfires. Think Clark's just shaking things up during games? That's only half the story. Her influence is rippling through the entire league, and it's got people asking, is this the dawn of a new era for women's basketball? Or are we witnessing its biggest challenge yet? Let's talk about Clark's recent game where she dropped 35 points. That's not just good, it's record-breaking. She just sailed past Cheryl Swoops' career high of 34 points.
Caitlin Clark scored 35 points today. Cheryl Swoops' career high was 34. Cheryl Swoops has had her records being beaten by the face of the league.
Remember when that was the gold standard? Clark's out here making it look like child's play. But here's where it gets wild. Clark isn't just setting records, she's filling seats. The WNBA is seeing a surge in ticket sales and fan attendance. It's like everyone wants a piece of the Clark action. The league's practically drooling over her success. Why? Because more fans mean more money, more exposure, and more growth for women's basketball. You know what's crazy? Clark's become this double-edged sword for the WNBA. On one hand, she's bringing in the crowds, getting people excited about women's basketball like never before. But on the other hand, some folks are starting to ask questions. They're wondering if all this attention on Clark is fair to the other players in the league. Imagine being one of Clark's teammates or opponents. You're out there giving it your all, playing your heart out, but all the cameras, all the headlines, they're focused on one player. That's gotta be tough, right? Some people are saying the media's obsession with Clark is creating an imbalance in the league. But here's the thing, Clark didn't ask for all this attention. She's just out there playing her game, doing what she loves. The media spotlight? That's not her fault. But it's definitely changing the game, both on and off the court. Think about it. When was the last time women's basketball got this much coverage? Clark's making people who've never watched a WNBA game tune in. She's getting kids excited about picking up a basketball. That's huge for the sport. But at the same time, it's raising some big questions. Is it fair for one player to get so much attention? What about the other stars in the league? Are we setting Clark up for impossible expectations? These are the kind of debates that are happening in locker rooms, on social media, and in sports bars across the country. All that hype around Clark? It might be a double-edged sword. She's been left off a major roster, and her recent performance has people scratching their heads. Is the pressure finally getting to her, or is this just a bump in the road for the WNBA's new superstar? Let's talk about Clark's recent rough patch in the WNBA. You know how she's been lighting up the scoreboard? Well, this weekend was different. She scored the fewest points and had the lowest shooting percentage of her entire career. We're talking college and pro. Against the Chicago Sky, Clark only managed 11 points with a 36% shooting rate. That's way below her usual standard. But here's where it gets wild. During that game, Chennedy Carter knocked Clark to the floor. Hard. The refs called it a common foul at first, but then upgraded it to a flagrant one. You'd think her teammates would be all over that, right? Protecting their star player? Nope. The lack of support for Clark after that foul had fans talking. Some were even saying her teammates should be more protective. Clark, though, she's as cool as ever. After the foul, she just said, "I wasn't expecting it. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and execute on offense." That's some serious focus right there. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, one bad game, no big deal. But there's more. Clark got left off the Team USA roster for the 2024 Olympics. That's huge. Reports are saying it's because of fan reactions and worries about her playing time behind the veterans.
That if Caitlin was put on the team but only got a few minutes of playing time, which would be logical for a rookie on a great team that last lost in 1992.
Christine Brennan from USA Today even said Clark's massive fan base from college played a part in leaving her off the team. Can you believe it? Her popularity might have actually worked against her. So what's going on here? Is Clark cracking under the pressure? Is the WNBA proving too tough for the college superstar? Or is this just a normal part of adjusting to the pro game? Here's the thing, Clark's not backing down. After that tough game, she said, "I thought we were really gritty." That's not a player who's giving up. She's facing these challenges head on, learning from every game, every play. So, what's next for Caitlin Clark in women's basketball? We've seen the suspension drama, her tightrope walk with technicals, and the huge impact she's having on the game.
But now it's basically over. I don't have to worry about that anymore, but I don't want to be getting technicals at all, so. And my mom doesn't want that for me either.
But here's the thing, Clark wants the focus back on basketball. She's actually said, "My focus is basketball." Sometimes it stinks how much the conversation is outside of basketball and not the product on the floor. Can you believe it? The star player is telling us to pay attention to the whole game, not just her. But Clark's making waves beyond the court. She's got people talking about race and fairness in women's basketball. Some fans are asking why veteran players didn't get this much attention before. So here's the big question. Is Clark changing women's basketball for better or worse? Or is she just the start of something bigger in the sport?